And that's when I said, well, let's just make it Thoughtful Thursday then, Justin. You know?
Thoughtful Thursday.
Yeah. Just like Dark Redeemer always says, it's going to be a Thoughtful Thursday. He always says that. You hear him. Don't you? Hello?
I'm here. I was just listening.
Crap. Hold on. Wait, let me. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Put on your respectability jacket.
Jacket on.
Here we go.
Woo.
SI Newhouse.
That was close.
Public Communications respectability jacket.
It's a nice jacket. I kind of want one like it.
This was my Doctor Who jacket. It's kind of got a lot of schmutz on it here.
Oh, yeah. You're doing a Matt Smith?
I've worn it to a couple wrestling shows, and one of the wrestling shows I went to, I got cottage cheese thrown on me.
Well, it's going to happen.
You know, sometimes you're just going to get a little cottage cheese thrown on.
Should just spray it with Scotch Guard.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. All right.
Well, y'all have fun now.
We will.
I'm gonna be back here now.
You're okay. If that's where you feel comfortable. I'm just gonna hold on. I need to take a sip of hot coffee from my new DTNS mug.
Oh snap!
Tasty coffee made of air. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Just need. Well, no, wait, hold on. By ready, I mean I'm not ready, and I need to get on my other network, my other wireless network, so I can change the lights.
On the show, hit the light. You get to watch Justin change the lights. Ooh, this reminds me. I actually am going to try during this show to show a screen on the YouTube video. We'll see how that goes. Do I know how to do it at all? Yeah. I do that, and I do that. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll never come back, but let me know when you're ready, sir. I'll keep the troops entertained.
From red to DTNS blue.
Oh, look at that.
Now we're talking. Let's go.
All right, let's do this. Here we go. Well, that didn't work. Why is that not working? None of that is working. At least I'm recording that. Good. Good. We're all fine here. How are you?
Great. Doing good. How are
come
you?
I never...
I just want you to know.
I never tested this today. This is the one day I don't test something.
What happened?
The iPad isn't playing anything.
No.
Uh-oh.
I could make the sounds.
It's all right.
Down, 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 down.
Like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
All right. I bumped something. It's called the mute button.
Oh, no.
Here we go. All right.
This episode of the Daily Tech News Show is brought to you by me. If you'd like to bring the next episode to yourself, go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support to be part of the show. Let's do this, Tom.
This is the Daily Tech News for Thursday, November 19th, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me again, 2 in a week, Justin Robert Young, DTNS contributor and independent podcaster. How are you?
Oh, snap, Tom. I'm very, very happy not only to be back this week, but also to be back on such an important and awesome day of the week.
Yeah, it's a Fanmail Thursday, or perhaps we should call it a Thoughtful Thursday for those who prefer alliteration. But we're doing, we got so much good feedback regarding the discussion of ride sharing and the future of automobiles, and the LA Auto Show's going on. So really, I mean, except for Justin being in Oakland, we could pretend this is the LA Auto Show. We're going to read a bunch of your emails, a lot of them about that topic, some of them just about other picks and stuff. And of course, we're going to have our regular headlines. It's going to be a really fun show.
They said ominously before it was boring.
Won't you join me? I thought about that as I was saying that. Like, anytime you say it's a really fun show,
like, you're lying, effectively.
Yeah. Like, why do you have to tell me that? But I seriously believe it. LG announced it has partnered with Korean credit card companies Shinhan Card and KB Kookmin to prepare for the launch of LG Pay, because what we need is another proprietary payment system. No details were given, but an LG spokesperson told TechCrunch that they will have more details in the coming weeks. Looks like they're just going to roll it out in South Korea, though, which is where LG has a good fan base.
Now, as much as this is one of those things that you don't want to put more attention and effort into another silo, are we at a point where if everybody is doing these, then it will have to, or it will be mandatory almost, for people to just take some version, right, or some aggregate version, or will there be businesses that spring up that say, yeah, no, we just take everything, although it's all pretty much run off NFC anyway, right?
Yeah, I guess what I would like to see is what actually happens with Google and Apple Pay, where it's like, well, I've got Apple Pay, NFC works. I've got Google Wallet, NFC works. Like, just make it so it's like, well, it doesn't matter if you have Visa or MasterCard. You choose one of those for various reasons on your own benefit, but they all work.
Yeah. Facebook says it will experiment with new tools to give users the option to digitally distance themselves, that's a quote unquote, from former loved ones without unfriending or blocking them. Facebook will prompt users with the option to, quote, see less when they change their relationship status, and also offers the option to have the person in question see less of their posts. Facebook will also allow you to go back and change privacy settings on images as well as untag yourself from them. Now, Tom, I think we immediately go to breakups with this, which is obviously a huge use case, but I think this is tremendously important, especially for breakups that aren't just the he said, she said, maybe I want to see them less for mental health, but dangerous, toxic relationships that people need to distance themselves from, and very often we see the kind of callous hand of the internet, sort of recommend, oh, maybe you should be friends with your abusive ex-boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yeah, but isn't this, like, in those extreme situations, you would just block. You would just unfriend and block. Like, this is for, well, I don't mind seeing them. It's okay. It's okay for them to continue to communicate. I don't have a problem with them. I just don't want to see all the stuff when they start dating again.
Yes and no, because a lot of times these situations are very, very volatile, and blocking or doing things that the other person who might be unstable would perceive as an act of aggression can very often spark things up. I'm not saying that is
interesting. Yeah.
I just think that it is very, very good that they have these tools in the toolbox
to give you the fine-tuned control over the situation. Good point. John Z776 wanted us to make sure you knew Amazon now has the option to use two-step authentication. You can use an authenticator app or get a security code sent to you by text message, your choice. In fact, you can use one as a backup for the other. Go to your Amazon account page, choose Change Account Settings, then click Edit for Advanced Security Settings. It's buried in there, but once you get there, you'll see the option to turn on two-step verification.
Can't wait until this stuff continues to get easier and
more.
Look at my watch and have it recognize my eyeballs. The New York Times reports YouTube will pay the future legal costs for creators it deems were the subject of unfair takedown notices, starting with 4 particular creators. None of the creators have faced legal challenge yet, but YouTube says that the move is to highlight fair use cases and may expand the program to include more creators.
This is really interesting to me, and of course my wife works at YouTube, but I think this is subject to some criticism, because on the one hand, this does, as a creator, does not make me feel like YouTube's got my back, because I have to get them to choose me to defend, right? I have to get in trouble first and then hope they come to my aid. So it doesn't shield me, but it will have the effect of actors who might go around saying, well, just claim everything because it doesn't really matter, to maybe stop sending out as many takedown notices because they don't want to end up tripping the wire that does cause YouTube and $1 million to wade in and say, oh, no, we're going to defend this person in court.
I think this is certainly a PR situation. You know, this is them saying that they are not just the guillotine blade, you know, being wielded by people with spurious claims.
Yeah, it is a PR move. I think it is more than just a PR move. Fred von Lohman, the lawyer, actually is one of the few people within Google that will speak out in defense of fair use fairly often. So I feel like this is something where they do want to strike back. And this is the first time since after the Viacom suit got settled that we've heard about this. And when they were in the lawsuit with Viacom, they were constrained about what they could do in these sorts of relationships because it could be dragged in court and shown to see they try to help the pirates.
Yeah. Well, when I say PR, I don't mean hollow.
Yeah.
It is a big public message that they want people to pay attention to.
modeblue wanted us to discuss the report out of Black Hat Europe from last week, actually, but it's just now getting some attention, that 2 Spanish security researchers who work for Salesforce demonstrated vulnerabilities in LastPass. One of the researchers, Martin Vigo, has a great post up about what they found, how they found it, and what you should do about it. And he said in that post that he believes password managers are a great tool. He provides a nice list of recommendations of what he thinks you as a LastPass user should do to secure your LastPass account and mitigate the vulnerabilities he discovered. And he made a point that LastPass responded very quickly to the reports. And Vigo wrote, quote, "There is no bug-free software, and any future research on other password managers would likely have similar results." And he's a little frustrated that people are taking this as a hey, we found out that LastPass is vulnerable. And it's like, no, this is security research in action, which is you examine something and you find vulnerabilities and then you get people to fix it and you make it more secure.
This is one of those things that always I can very much understand the frustration of the person who presented this compared to the attention that it gets from the press, because the press headline is just like, oh, password managers, like, will they give you, you know, the heartache of a lifetime? We'll tell you at 11. Like, and it's just, it's fear mongering when he's, you know, what it feels like he wants to say is, this is grown folks' business. This is how these things work. You expose vulnerabilities. You patch vulnerabilities. That is how we get bigger and better in a world where people constantly want to do damage to our systems. And
honestly, I took this article as an excellent checklist to go through and like, okay, have I done everything to make sure that I have secured this account if I am someone who's going to use it. So just, if nothing else, go to Martin Vigo's link. We'll have it in the show notes. Skip right down to the end and look at that recommendations thing for you. He even has one for LastPass, by the way, which he gave to them. And be like, yes, am I doing that? Am I doing that? Am I doing that if you use LastPass?
Habichuelacondulce wanted us to mention the Intercept report that a cell phone found belonging to one of the attackers from Paris last week was found outside the Bataclan concert hall. The phone was encrypted and contained messages unencrypted and contained messages sent in the clear using SMS. The Le Monde reports information from the phone was used to locate a safe house on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Reuters reports that the Information Technology Industry Council released a statement saying weakening encryption to help the government increase security, quote, simply does not make sense. The group represents Microsoft, Google, Apple, and many other tech companies.
And of course, the debate continues. Now, you can take this phone that was found unencrypted either way and say, well, look, you know, we were lucky enough to find one that was unencrypted and it helped with a raid. Wouldn't it be nice if all phones could be unencrypted and help with raids? Yeah, and I refer you to Tuesday's show for our discussion of that topic. But a lot of people are taking this report and playing their side of this argument with it.
I mean, I'm sure that, I don't know. I mean, we don't need to get political here because, you know, to be honest, I don't think the political lines have really been drawn on this. But I don't think that fighting a war on encryption will really yield us with any better results than a lot of the other high-minded wars that we've decided to fight.
That puts you right in line with the Information Technology Industry Council and Tim Cook and lots of other people. Carnegie Mellon University issued a response, finally, to those allegations from a while ago that Tor director Roger Dingledine made that the university helped U.S. law enforcement crack Tor, possibly in exchange for $1 million. A statement from Carnegie Mellon reads, the university, from time to time, is served with subpoenas requesting information about research it has performed. The university abides by the rule of law, complies with lawfully issued subpoenas, and receives no funding for its compliance. They did not write wink, wink at the end of that. But yeah, I mean, they didn't actually directly respond. They said, there have been a lot of inaccurate reports in the press. We want to tell you that when we get subpoenas, we comply with them and we don't get paid for complying. Don't know that that has to do with anything in particular, but that's what we do.
So Carnegie Mellon and a lot of these really big name schools where so much amazing research into technology goes on are really at a vulnerable point right now. You know, they don't want to look like hired guns, and that is oftentimes muddied by the fact that they do, like Carnegie Mellon is doing research for Uber. Like, it is not crazy to think that somebody would have a special relationship.
Carnegie Mellon gets funds from the U.S. government for cybersecurity research. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So you know, it's I think it's one of those things that, you know, you in the ivory tower, you kind of bristle at, but you can certainly understand where people would get that idea.
Yeah, and I don't think Dingledine was saying they got paid directly to respond to a subpoena. He was saying they get $1 million for cybersecurity research, and they helped out with this. And you do the math.
Yeah. Match, the company behind dating sites Match.com, OkCupid, and Tinder, issued its stock IPO at $12 a share, the bottom of its expected range of 12 to 14. And in other Wall Street news, Square issued its stock today at $9 a share, less than the expected 11 to 13 it had estimated earlier this month. Drew from gloomy New Jersey, who works near the stock exchange, sent us pictures of Square's IPO party. Quote, they highlighted how many different types of businesses use Square for payments. They had several food trucks on the street, which is actually Broad Street and not Wall Street, and tents with everything from coffee shops to caricature artists to a barber shop where you could get a haircut. I even grabbed a donut and a cider on my way to work. Man,
that's actually a really cool way to do it. Like, you could just go get a lobster roll in celebration of Square's IPO outside of Wall Street, outside the New York Stock Exchange.
You want would actually be really, really rad is if they left those out there like during the night, because that whole area goes completely silent. It is one of the weirdest, but one of the few places in New York that just actually goes totally ghost town past 5 o'clock. And it would be really rad to just make, you know, the Square sponsored village and actually have it be something that would be worth it to come down and see.
Yeah, big thanks to Drew for sending along those pictures. We'll have a link to his Google photo album if you want to take a look at them some more later. Now, apparently all these IPO folks are doing it in the wrong country. The Wall Street Journal has an article noting that Australia has risen to 5th in the world for amount raised by new tech IPOs this year, up from 8th last year and 13th the year before. Meanwhile, while the U.S. stays in first place, the amount raised by U.S. IPOs has fallen to a 7-year low. The article has a fascinating explanation of how Australia's mining history has created the conditions for this sort of tech investing boom. Because people are used to having risks on mining startups. And the other thing that fascinated me was a description of reverse IPOs, where essentially a broke mining company is trading for 20 cents a share. So a tech company comes in and merges with that company and then becomes a tech company instantly and has stock available for purchase.
Well, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. You want to know more about this? Well, we would need Peter Wells on board, maybe with day 6 of the Daily Tech News Show.
Snap!
I'm just saying. You want that day 6, folks? Let us know. Patreon.com. All right. And also, we want, even if you don't have $1 to throw our way, submit your stories and vote on them at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. It definitely helps us put stuff in the lineup. I wouldn't have put that LastPass story in the lineup, I'll be honest, if so many of you weren't voting it up in the subreddit, because I thought it was kind of a non-story that bloggers were blowing out of proportion, but it gave us a chance to talk about it and say, well, this is what we really think is going on. So thank you for doing that. dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com is awesome. Go look at it, and that's a look at the headlines. All right, it's Thoughtful Thursday. It's Fanmail Thursday. And we're going to start with Unstoppable, who wrote, I know this might not be exactly in the wheelhouse of DTNS, but would it be possible to get a 5-minute discussion about good places to find deals on tech during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or maybe just some items you guys are looking to pick up next week, where you're headed for them, maybe divide it up into categories. I know you're not a home shopping podcast. I just think the listeners might be interested in hearing where everyone's favorite tech commentators are getting their devices this year. And I wrote Unstoppable back, and I was like, my usual thing on Black Friday and Cyber Monday is not buy anything.
Yeah. I'm never really a Black Monday a Black Friday, Cyber Monday shopper.
I'm not a Black Monday guy. I hate when my stock crashes in the 20s. It's awful.
I mean, and listen, I don't stop there.
Wait, that was the 80s, the Black Monday. Never mind.
So yeah, I don't really do a ton of shopping. I think that very often where I would look for stuff is just kind of understand what you want and then keep an eye on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, because really what I think is most interesting is when the really rad deals kind of bubble up organically. People love to share them. There was, especially televisions and cameras are really the big thing. Whenever those go on their little runs on an Amazon or something like that, the word tends to get around pretty fast. But I'm not one to be sitting, refreshing every 5 seconds. And to be honest, I think Prime Day broke me for Amazon.
I generally try to present myself as a reasonable individual, but one of my crank beliefs is that every advertisement that says it's a deal is a ripoff. And Black Friday is my nightmare. Like, I have no idea if this stuff's real. Would I buy this if it wasn't on sale? I'm just going to stay away, because you know how I save money on Black Friday? Not spending anything. And then I tell people to get off my lawn. But I do think that you don't have to be as crazy as that. But when you're shopping, the one thing I would say is don't get sucked into buying something you wouldn't otherwise. And make sure you're actually getting a deal. Make sure you're not just buying an inferior product for a cheap price, or that the deal isn't secretly more expensive than it might be otherwise.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think here's the biggest key. Know what you want. Don't, the big problem is when you start to get like, oh, well, I don't know, like maybe I do need this electronic lazy Susan because it is at down.
Exactly. Well, and
just detail first. So for us, right? So we're building out the studio here in our apartment in Oakland. We have 2 sets here. There are things that I feel like we could use for it, up to and including lights, cameras, action. Sorry.
Is that a deal?
Well, I mean, like hue lights, for example. We do a lot with hue lights. We have a lot of different things set up. We affect them. We change them. So if there was a run, if there was a price drop on hue lights, then yeah, I think it'd be something that we'd be really interested in.
Well, yeah. If I saw something I knew I wanted and it was cheaper than I knew it sold for, I would not buy it. If I knew I was going to buy it anyway. It's just, to me, I guess what it really comes down to in all seriousness is I don't want to spend the effort. It feels like it's not worth my time to go scrounging around to find those deals. So it's not fun for me. And it is fun for some people, so that's fine.
Oh, I mean, there are, without a doubt. Go ahead and at reply, at Ace Detect, and at Justin R. Young if you are a compulsive shopper for whom the hunt of Black Friday is truly the most dangerous game.
Yes, and link to your favorite deals so that Unstoppable can look at the at replies to us and find them. The problem solved.
Dark Redeemer in the chat room does point out that Action is only $11.99 this year on Amazon.
Ooh.
And as
but there's a limited amount of action.
fans of the canceled too early Jay Moore dramedy, I think we will all be very excited.
All right, let's get into some picks of the day. We're going to do several because it's Fanmail Thursday. Russell notes Caltech has put Richard Feynman's lectures up on their site and optimized them for pretty much any device. They're free to read online. As a Feynman fan, I would recommend these, as his brilliance and clarity of explanation are great, and he always manages to put a very human and relatable touch to the material. Go to feynmanlectures.caltech.edu. Well done, Caltech. I have Feynman lectures on CD. I have books, but if you have never experienced them, this is definitely the first place to stop.
Highly recommended. Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman, to me is something that is a must read or listen on the audiobook is very good as well. I'll just say one thing. Feynman and Carl Sagan, as far as the faces of science for their generation, were really, really, really something special. And I feel that their absence, from the world is very acutely felt, because I think now we're in a very, very weird place where the faces of science are also there to be right and not just to be these kind of big, large, glowing, friendly faces for like, hey, you should understand the world around you. And I think that that's what both of them did so exceptionally well. That it wasn't about, hey, you should know this because if you don't, you're dumb. It was about, hey, look, the world is here for you whether you like it or not. And I will just be there to be the compelling, charismatic, friendly face.
And help you understand more about it. Yeah.
Joe writes, I ride Delta a lot going to work and home. Delta has two ways of watching movies in the back of the plane. If it's a Boeing, except for the 717, the screen is in the back of the seat. Otherwise, you need to download the GoGo app. To get the free movies, you go to Movies and then select All Movies, and you can find all the free and pay-for movies on one gigantic list. I see every passenger get frustrated using the interface because it defaults you to the money movies under new releases and give up. It always takes a second to explain to them the trick, but I get worried most passengers just give up. Make sure you bring your own headphones, however. This is really, really rad. I don't have a lot of experience with the GoGo app. However, having been, up until very, very recently, a business flyer on United.
Disclose your level.
I can say that, 1K passenger, 2 years in a row, over 130,000 miles flown this year. Now, the United app is a must-have if you're flying on United. If you are on a flight without direct TVs in the headsets, but with Wi-Fi, all right, you get access to all, basically, and this is what's happening. And you have all these people that provide Wi-Fi on planes that also realize, hey, we can connect people via Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Southwest does it. That's the only way you get free TV and some movies as well.
Yeah, and so they'll just stream the movies off their server on the plane itself. It's great. It is a huge, awesome way to save like your sanity when you can just flip that on. And kind of I think an added benefit is it's a great way to keep your battery, because if it's only connecting via Wi-Fi and you turn off your other radios, you can watch a couple movies and still have a lot of battery when you land because it's not trying to ping it.
Bernard writes, as anyone familiar with San Francisco is aware, it's made up of a dozen or more microclimates, so the weather in the Sunset District can be vastly different than downtown or the Mission. Mr. Chili is an app that pulls data from Weather Underground for a 16-hour extended period and is incredibly useful for planning out your science fiction San Francisco activities. He wrote SF, and that's where my brain went. For planning out your San Francisco activities, whether in the city, wherever in the city you'll be. It's iOS only. Sorry, Android folks. But it gives you microclimate predictions so that you know whether to bundle up if you're headed out to the beach, which is what you do in San Francisco.
Absolutely. This is, I think, I don't know. I mean, I think this is great. This is a great way, and let's actually just move on from here, because I don't think anybody outside of San Francisco wants to hear more ways that awesome apps can affect them while they're in San Francisco.
You got the next one.
Do you have an aux jack and $20? If so, let me introduce you to SoundBot SB360. You take that car's electrical port. Back in my day, we called it a cigarette lighter. Plug in the 3 USB port adapter, plug in the aux jack cable, and voila, you have a Bluetooth-enabled vehicle. What's more, if you travel or switch cars, you can take this with you and have it to pair against a foreign device, so it's mildly safer.
So in other words, you you don't have to pair with the car you're renting. You can use this that you're already paired with, and then you're not sending data into something that you don't know what's going to happen to it later on, which is mildly safer. So yeah, $20. Check it out, folks. SoundBot SB360. And it gives you 2 extra USB ports as well, because it's a 3 USB port thing that comes with it. One of them connects to the Bluetooth adapter, but then you got 2 more. Nicely done. Thank you, Big Jim.
Oh, okay.
Send your pics. Oh, sorry.
You could just plug in aux to aux. I mean, like Bluetooth, cool, right?
I'll be honest. That's what I do. But if, let's say, you're in a car that doesn't have an aux jack that you rented.
You need an aux jack because you.
Oh, that's right. No, you're right. Because how do you connect the Bluetooth thing? I don't know. It's just it's cool. It's fun.
Very cool. Very
do
cool.
Things with it.
Thank you very, very much, Big Jim. Yeah, it might be a little bit of a Rube Goldberg for a fairly simple solution.
Send your pics to us. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my pics at dailytechnewsshow.com/pics. All right, we got lots of messages about ride sharing, starting with a call from Jacob.
Hi, Tom. Jacob from Oregon here. I loved your discussion yesterday about the changing trends and how cars are being used with the advent of apps like Uber and other alternative transportation options. But I think there's a part you left out. I've noticed in recent years there's been a bunch of companies that have been developing smaller, more efficient vehicles intended for shorter daily driving. For example, in my hometown, a company called Arcimoto recently announced production plans for a little two-seater vehicle that's electric with a 70-mile range. They plan to offer it for a little over $10,000, and I think that'll make it really attractive for people in urban areas who don't want the high monthly payments and maintenance costs of a traditional car, and don't want to rely on ride shares or public transportation. There's a lot of people that just aren't interested in that. My prediction is that small, efficient vehicles like the Arcimoto and the Elio and others will become popular in dense urban areas for in-town commutes, at least until self-driving cars become the norm. I love your show. Keep up the great work.
I want to get in on Jacob's enthusiasm here because I love the idea. I just feel like this is... For $10,000, I can take 3 Uber trips a day for every day, all year long. And I know he's like, some people don't want to do ride sharing, and maybe that's true, but a lot of people don't want to have a 2-seater car either. I just feel like this is the solution to something that will no longer be needed within a few years.
Yeah, this is Arcimoto says it's starting at 12, not 10. It's 11,900 on their website, and it is. Very much. I mean, I don't think it would be insulting it to say it looks golf cart-esque. You know, it has that kind of feel to it. I agree with you. I think we're more likely to see a different usage of our current infrastructure as opposed to a brand new model for which.
Because the people who don't want to do ride sharing or self-driving cars that they don't own are car lovers, and car lovers, some of them are going to be excited about these because they're cool technology, but a lot of them are going to be more excited about sports cars or something with a powerful engine or something like that. So I don't know. Could be totally wrong, Jacob. Thanks for sharing the thought with us, though. Rich from lovely Cleveland thinks the biggest problem we'll have with the future of self-driving cars will be infrastructure. He writes, I'm thinking about the very basic reconfiguring of our cities and roadways to leverage the basic efficiency of self-driving cars, whether it's simply stratified lanes for these vehicles or more radical, as there is less and less human comprehensibility that the roadway needs.
You know, I guess where you would look to is all of the, HOV lanes and, the special highways, like the side pay highways with the ever-changing tolls based on, supply and demand. So the idea that we would make these infrastructures, if even just for highway driving, for cars that had maybe not totally autonomous, but semi-autonomous systems like what you've seen with Tesla's autopilot, doesn't seem that far off, right?
Yeah, and it's not like we built logical on-ramps in most of the parts of this country anyway. So I don't know if that needs to be changed or not, but I do feel like you probably don't need as many lanes. These 6-lane highway that I have running right through my front yard, not really, not that far away from here, probably only needs to be 2. if you have real efficient self-driving cars. I could be totally wrong about that. I may be overestimating the efficiency, but I don't think you need as much roadway if you have more efficient algorithm-controlled driving.
Which highway are you near?
405.
No, say it like you're from Los Angeles.
Oh, the 405.
Excellent. Franz from the Philippines writes, ride-sharing services are now legal here, and of course, as expected, taxis will try to resist, but I haven't heard any news about that. However, from what I've observed, taxi companies are actually going for Uber's competitor, Grab Taxi, and a few that I observed in my trip to Cebu City are signing up for a homegrown ride-sharing service. It's fascinating what competition can actually do for a market. Now there's competing for a helicopter ride-sharing along with Grab, and that is, what's next? Submarines. By the way, I'm so ready for those.
I can't wait for submarine sharing. And if you're in an island, a collection of islands like the Philippines, you might need a submarine. Take a submarine ride if you're going, down to the south or up to Luzon. Just take a sub up there. I'm ride sharing on my sub.
But I don't know. Is it possible to run like a ride sharing, a boat ride sharing thing, like from like Jack London Square to somewhere in San Francisco?
Yes. In fact, I want to say it was New York, but I could be wrong. There are ride sharing boat services happening in some city, and I can't remember which city now. Maybe it's Vancouver.
I heard a rumor, which is not to say much because they experiment everything, that Uber was looking to do some kind of San Francisco to East Bay boat service, but I would be so into that. I love that ride between Jack London Square and the Ferry Building. If ever you are in the Bay Area, it is one of my favorite things to recommend to people because it looks so rad, and I would love to have that on demand.
Roger Chang, thank you so much in Slack telling us Istanbul is the place that has the ride-sharing boats. But a quick web search turned up Coastal Life, an app being used in South Florida, Justin, for people to share boat rides.
Now that's great. I mean, certainly that makes a lot of sense in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and prior to Miami-Dade because you have a lot of canal access. So it's really not that hard for somebody to have a boat that, obviously it's a tremendous amount of upkeep, and if you can rent it out for a little bit, it certainly helps.
Christian from I don't know Fahrenheit, but the water is solid outside Trondheim writes with a Scandinavian perspective. He says in Norway, you need to have a permit to do personal transport, bus, taxi, etc. Cab owners are the permit holders, but they can hire drivers who then need their own certificate of a kind to be a driver. I don't know if the expression pirate taxi is widespread outside of Norway or Scandinavia, but that's what we call people who drive other people around for pay without a permit, especially on weekends and other holidays. Ride sharing is supposed to be a carpool of sorts. I'm going the same way as you're going. Why don't we split the costs? Costs should be just a couple of dollars. Uber drivers aren't interested in driving for cost. They're not philanthropists. They're in it for money. That makes Uber drivers pirates. And then he cites an article in the Norwegian newspaper that more or less concluded that even the Norwegian Uber drivers know what they're doing is illegal, and they drive less and less because if they get pulled over, the cops cut their plates.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. But I just love the idea of pirate taxis.
Well, that's, and it's probably offensive, but that's where our term gypsy cab.
Right? Yeah. No, it's not a nice way of describing it, but yeah, that's that in New York City. That is often what an unlicensed transportation vehicle is referred to as.
Absolutely. Now, is this last one me or do you?
Yeah, that last one's you. I marked it wrong.
I used to drive a taxi on Long Island, and I had to get a hack license. The hack license was so we could solicit rides personally. With this license, we could sit at the train station when the trains came in and try to get people to allow us to drive them to their destination. On the other hand, if someone solicited us for a ride, or on the other hand, if someone solicited us for a ride, there was no license necessary for that. If someone calls you and asks you to pick them up in exchange for money, anyone is allowed to do that. This is the difference between Uber and taxis. Uber isn't sitting at the train station soliciting their services. You don't hail an Uber. You go to them specifically, asking them to pick you up and drive you to your destination in exchange for money, which, to my knowledge, anyone can do without a license.
At least in Long Island.
Rich. On the island.
And Rich was saying that he doesn't know how it works other places, and obviously in Trondheim it works differently. But he's saying in Long Island, Uber's just you doing it by the book. So the laws are different in different places for sure.
Yeah, and
I mean, that seems obvious to say. Yes, laws are different, but the laws, particularly for what Uber and Lyft and Grab Taxi, et cetera, do, are going to be different. In some places, Grab Taxi might not be legal because it is a way for taxi companies to coordinate that might be considered antitrust.
And that's the weird thing, is that what we are seeing now is this, like, you know, the get people from one point to another industry was effectively a caveman, like frozen, or Captain America, frozen in ice for X amount of years, that had no evolution and really just kind of existed in the form from the 1970s to the, you know, past 2010. It was effectively the exact same industry that was regulated by medallions and stuff like that. Now we are seeing this rapid expanse of like, okay, well, if they're not going to have a monopoly, then how do we figure this out? What's fair? What's right? What's the government's responsibility? What is the responsibility of the company? What is the responsibility of the personal driver? And it's fascinating to see every different municipality and country come up with what they believe is important to protect and important to break down.
Yeah, the attacks on the business models are different in Paris than they are in San Francisco, than they are in Istanbul, than they are in London. They went after the dispatching system. They're like, you're operating an illegal dispatching system, which is exactly what Grab Taxi is doing. So yeah, it's well put. It's just taking an ossified business model and exposing it to the light, watching them ice melt off of it, and then dealing with what's left behind.
It's actually, I heard an interview with Mark Cuban in which he was asked what the biggest, you know, slap his forehead moment of his career was, and it was not investing in Uber. That Travis Kalanick came to Mark Cuban, and they had done another startup before that, and he said, "Hey, I want to put, you know, this is my new thing," and Mark Cuban said, "You want to know what? Great idea. I just don't know if it's ever going to get past all the regulation. Everything's just such a rock of Gibraltar," and so he moved on, and you know, now Uber's Uber.
And Kalanick said, "Oh, we'll just jump past the regulation. We'll just operate in Trondheim without being legal, and we'll see what happens later."
That was the idea. It was that, you know, they had the money and they had the will. And really, when you look at it, I don't know if you could have gotten that kind of momentum any other way than what they've done.
Yeah. Well, that is it for this episode of DTNS. Thank you, Justin Robert Young, twitter.com/Justin R. Young to follow him and find out what he's up to. There's one-man shows, there's comedy albums, there's The Contender, which has new bundles in the works.
Indeed. Speaking of, listen, don't buy anything on Black Friday, except the brand new Contender bundles. We'll have more info on that next week.
The contender.us. Do I have that right? Pulling that number.
Contender.us, brand new website. Go ahead and check it out. And we're going to put up on the Facebook and the Twitter, The Contender on Twitter, and then search for The Contender on Facebook. We're going to put up pictures of our boxes rolling off the line. It's happening. .gif.
I can't wait to see that, actually. The boxes, you're going to actually show the boxes rolling off the line?
Yeah, no, I just brought our distributor today, and I'm like, just take pictures. Just take pictures and send them to me. I need to.
Yeah. Video. Also, if you go to frogpants.cratejoy.com, you might find something to buy. You don't have to wait till Black Friday. I'm just teasing ahead to Current Geek this Friday. Thank you, patrons, for making it possible for us to do this show. If you have $1 and you've gotten $1's worth of enjoyment out of this entire month's worth of episodes, we would be pleased to have it, as Dan Carlin says. So head on over to patreon.com and look for Daily Tech News Show. Or you can just go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support, where you can just give us a one-time donation over PayPal. You can buy a coffee mug over there at the store. There's lots of ways to support the show. We're just working on the value for value model. If you get value out of the show, hopefully you'll be willing to give us a little bit of that value back to keep us going. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 593-2459. Catch the show live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. It's on alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv. And visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. Tomorrow with Darren Kitchen and Len Peralta will be awesome. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Boom.
Great show.
Thank you.
Do we consider, I mean, I'm sure this is more of a cord killers thing, but Comcast launching the streaming TV service that doesn't count against data caps?
Well, I've talked about it before that they were going to launch it. I guess we could get into another one of these. Well, it's not available if you don't have Comcast internet, so it's only running on their lines. Is it really a net neutrality violation then? That's where it ends for me. It's like, well, it's their internal service. Like, I can't get it as a Verizon internet subscriber. If I could, and then it didn't count against your data cap as a Comcast subscriber, I'd be more upset about it. Because the arguments you have to make are like, well, but if you are a Comcast subscriber, you might be more likely to pay for that than get Sling TV, which gives them an unfair advantage. And that's fair, but it's not exactly a net neutrality thing at that point. It's more of an antitrust thing.
No, it's not. And it really, I mean, like, 87 million first, same as the first. Like, these data caps are fraudulent. And the fact that this is like, oh, no, yeah, please stream high quality content that will either go on your television or will scale up to your television or be on your large scale iPad Pro. Yeah, no, totally, that's fine. Oh, we can do all of it. Yeah, we hope everybody gets our IPTV. That doesn't stream against the data caps. Why do we have data caps? Oh, because congestion. Because we got to make sure.
No, the congestion thing has always been a ruse. It's never been about congestion.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is just this is fraudulent.
I don't think it's fraudulent because what they could argue is, well, the congestion is at the interconnection, not on our internal network. So since we're streaming this across our internal network, well, of course it's fine. It won't be a congestion problem. We need to stop people pulling things in from outside because those interconnections are the ones that get clogged up because we don't add capacity to them, which is a different sort of just blather.
Whatever. I hate them.
We did talk about that service on Cord Killers already. We just didn't know it wasn't going to count against your data cap.
Yeah.
So, do we call it Pirate Taxi? I mean...
Yeah. Yes.
Taxi.
Yes, that. Hey, so how do I use Snapchat? This is what I want to know for my birthday. This is my birthday present that I'm asking for from the internet, which is how do I use Snapchat?
Specify what you mean, because I think you know how to use Snapchat.
Yeah, I downloaded it and I opened it.
Yeah.
And
so then you add contacts, and then you can send pictures to your contacts. But Justin, I think what she wants is, how do I use it to like best
How do I use
effect?
it so that it's useful to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, follow people. Follow people that you like that are active, and it really is a tremendous. It is about consuming, right? There are like some really fun ways to share it, but if the point of sharing for you is like I take a picture and now I see what the reaction is, which is so much of Twitter and Facebook, then you're left cold by Snapchat. Snapchat is as good as the people that you follow, and it is that consumption, that like easy frictionless consumption that is its calling card.
So when people change their Twitter icons to be Snapchat icons, is that so you can more easily follow them?
That's so they
look hip.
Yeah.
All right. Because that would be cool if it was actually a QR code in disguise as your Twitter
How do
handle?
you post to people who follow you?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't work like Twitter where you just post everything publicly, right?
I'm just a little
Justin?
confused by
Wait,
it.
what was that? Say it again.
How do you post to people who follow you?
I think you just post, right?
But you have to send it to people. You have to choose who to send it to.
Well, no, your default is it goes everywhere. Ashley's here who knows more about Snapchat. If you're just sending it out to everybody, my story. You post to my story.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So you can send it to people and use it like SMS, or you post it to my story, and then everyone who follows you can see it.
You can see it.
Okay, got it.
All right, I'm going to try. At 39 years old, I'm definitely going to try to learn Snapchat. Oh, Oh dear.
Just
Call
find,
me when you're 45 trying to learn Snapchat.
no, find people who are good. I can't believe that it got deleted off my phone. I'm downloading it now.
How do I get rid
I
of
haven't
this?
answered any of my Snapchats from my lovely wife.
Aw, but Snapchat's temporary anyway.
Well, yeah.
But how do you find people who aren't just Comedy Central and such?
That's a good question. How do you find people?
Like, what's the discovery like?
You can search your contacts.
All of my contacts are like old people.
You never know.
They're not on Snapchat.
You might be getting buck wild.
How do you follow like Adele?
Yeah.
You can be rolling in the deep.
Oh.
Deedle-deedle-dee.
Justin is keeping his proprietary Snapchat usage information to himself.
No, you gotta find. You can find other people's stories though, right?
Also, Snapchat is one of the few things that I actually kind of find brand stuff not totally intolerable.
Right.
Because by and large, people don't know how to use it, so they're just like, it's just very obvious fumbling. And number two, even when it's done deliberately, it's pretty rad because like it is very personal, no matter what. Even at its most crass, it's somebody hitting a button and taking a picture and or recording something, fairly natural.
On the plus side, I think this just goes to like desire. Like if you want something enough, you'll follow it and figure out how to use it. So the only person I've successfully followed on Snapchat is Jif Pom.
Who's that?
The little Pomeranian that was in the Katy Perry video. So I've managed to find Jif Pom.
You have to know their username, I guess.
I guess, yeah. Ay.
Twitter
All right.
used to be like that too.
Back in Snapchat. I can't. What? How did I go so long?
Oops, I did it again.
You used to call me on your Snapchat.
You used to call me on your Snapchat.
Hello. That's my favorite thing of the past 2 weeks is the mashup of Drake, Adele, and Lionel Richie.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so the best ever comment that we got so Matt's movie premiered last night, which was really exciting. I
saw
find it.
that. That's so exciting.
It was so exciting. And we went to, and we saw the movie. And, like Disney XD has all these cute little Disney stars that they invest all their time and money in, and they go to all the premieres. And there was this one lovely girl, and I don't remember her name, but, like, I had a picture of Matt on Instagram, and I did the right hashtag, apparently. And there was a squirrel in the movie. It's called The Mad Squirrel. And she wrote, "That squirrel is my bae." And I knew we had a hit.
Hype.
It was amazing.
You used to call me on my squirrel phone.
Yep.
Although "bae" is starting to become a mature word. Not mature like nasty. I just mean like.
Oh, you
Right.
nasty.
Say that again.
You nasty, huh?
No,
I just mean like it's becoming a little mainstream now.
Yeah, it's like best friend. Like it's certainly it's somewhere between bae and best, like old bae and best friend.
Old bae. The old gray bear just ate what?
Old bae.
My old bae.
I think I figured out the layout finally. With the new
The layout
iPad Pro.
app or layout?
No, the layout of my desk. I had
Oh.
to change because of the iPad Pro. It's not to have the iPad Pro upright. I still need it down. It's better down. But I put it in front of the keyboard and moved the keyboard over here. And that worked really well today. So.
You used to call me on my bae phone. Sorry, I don't know.
My booty call phone.
It's my bae day. I do what I want.
Happy birthday.
Birthday.
Wait, is it your birthday today?
It is.
What?
It's my
Her
birthday today.
We not Facebook friends? How did this
We
get...
are Facebook friends.
That's how I found out.
I
I
bet
got
you
a Facebook notification.
the birthday Facebook signal was drowned out by the premiere. Like the premiere did a lot.
But I got an email. It was like, it's Jenny Joseph's birthday today.
Oh, this is... Wait, Jenny Josephson. Oh, my God. Jenny Josephson, Daily Tech News Show, Dan Rather.
You know,
You know. as you do.
she's fallen quite a ways. But
I would disagree.
Have you seen the movie? The Rather movie?
You know, I haven't yet because I lived through it in a tiny adjacent way where I had nothing to do with it and only felt empathy for everybody involved.
Yeah.
So I have to watch it like alone in the dark, I think, not in a movie.
you have to watch it on your cell phone.
Yeah, pretty much.
One day, without it being public, we should have a conversation because as an outsider, I drew so many different
Right.
so many, like, I think it's one of the most important media stories in my lifetime, but for none of the reasons that
Yeah. One of the things that I can say publicly, because it really is just how I feel about it, is like you and I as journalists, and Tom, I think maybe Tom has ever made like one mistake, but like the feeling of making a mistake or screwing up
No,
in
I've
journalism
made more than one. Yeah.
is so profound and powerful when you do it at the easily correctable level that to me the horror of that movie is in the making of the mistake and the moment that you find out you made the mistake. And like top-notch, amazing journalists working at their highest possible level make a mistake. And whether that's whatever is ascribed to it being, you know, tricked or whatever, led or wanting it too much or whatever one side or the other says about it, like that awful feeling of, and you feel it coming before you really understand it, that you did it. And I just, like, my empathy for that is like through the roof because I remember how I feel about it on mildly insubstantial things that I got wrong. So yeah, that would be my public takeaway, and just like empathy for all involved at all levels. So
we once ran a story at the Daily Orange where R.J. Anderson, the then starting quarterback for the Syracuse Orange Men, when they were still the Orange Men, because I'm ancient, had his was it car stolen or robbed, but he listed as having been robbed from the car $30. Unfortunately, the poor penmanship of the cop who wrote it made it look very much like $3,000.
oh no.
We wrote $3,000 in the story, which immediately raises questions as a student athlete.
Yeah.
R.J. Anderson have $3,000 just sitting in his car, like, and not in his pocket, not in a bank account. That seems like a fishy thing, and it all fell down around us. And the person, I forget if I approved it or you know, whatever my explicit element of it, but I was either in management or running the news section at the time, and it was horrifying. It's just it's terrible, and you never feel lower as a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
Times that you feel at your lowest is A, when you've hurt somebody or when somebody's hurting because of something that you are doing. That never goes away, and it's never simple. Even when somebody deserves it, you know, it feels bad to hurt people.
That's why I got out.
Yeah, and when you get something wrong, and when you abuse the power that you have, and understanding that, you know, as much as you scream from the mountaintops that, you know, we're not truth bots, we're not you know, these machines that just like, okay, facts come in, truth comes out, beep bop boop, and people make mistakes. That when you're the one who makes a real error like that, it's a huge issue, and I can only imagine for everybody in that thing and that whole kerfuffle had to feel just apocalyptic.
Yeah. Yeah. How about one of my cameramen once, not a CBS staffer, but a freelancer, had the wrong lens on his gear, and we were chosen at the last second as the jury pool, and his pans accidentally put jurors on his, I know, and it accidentally got fed out, and accidentally some of it ended up on the air. Like, lawyers had to be called, and we had to apologize in court. And that was my fault as the producer. That was a big one. That's when I was like, and it was just those, how I felt about the Rather thing on the tiny scale, which is just every tiny little confluence of accident and failure to catch that leads to these things. And it was just, head-bangingly awful.
Well, and what I find to be the most interesting part of that story is that it was the last time that somebody got up on a mainstream news thing and said with authority, come on, it's the internet. Without saying, come on, it's the internet. But it was this, big roll of, all right, yeah, the internet's really buzzing around about this story that we really reported the hell out of. And I don't doubt that they reported the hell out of it, and I don't doubt that everybody was operating at their biggest thing. And I haven't seen the movie, by the way.
Yeah.
But any assertion that movie may or may not make about the veracity of how true that information was, all one needs to do is take a very quick trip to the Wikipedia page and just look at what was I think it was the last time that stuff like that would ever happen. And that's super important because it's completely defined how we look at stuff now, and how Reddit pours through everything. And not to say Reddit's the only place, but just every comment section will look for the pattern in the Photoshop or in this case the serifs on the letters and just say, oh yeah, by the way, those were impossible to have been made.
Yeah. It's a long, sad story.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you guys are doing a Star Wars thing, I will be down in LA to see Star Wars. So.
What?
Oh, right. What time are you guys going?
Yeah, we're going night.
On the 17th, right?
17th at 9 p.m. I think
right.
we're in the first block after the 7 p.m.
I'm tagging Krekel out because I'm in at 7 and he's in at 9, which is the showing right after mine.
Gotcha.
Right.
9 something. But you guys are going to a different theater, I think, Justin.
We are.
I know Jenny is.
Andrew Main, my partner in Star Wars.
Who I had a lovely lunch with on Saturday, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
He was very insistent that we had to go to an assigned seat theater.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I wonder if you're going to my assigned seat theater.
Which one are you going to?
Does it start with an A?
Is this secret information?
No, I don't know. Is it the ArcLight in Hollywood?
No, it is not the ArcLight.
Okay. Is it the Grove?
Most of our theaters down here are assigned seats now.
Are they?
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, our party is a before and after 8 p.m. Star Wars showing, and if enough people are there that can keep the house open, a during. So yeah, on Friday though, not on Thursday. On Friday.
And you need to be on Cord Killers on Friday, Justin.
Yeah.
Because Cord Killers and Current Geek are swapping places.
Permanently?
No, just for that week. So that, because Scott won't have seen it, and neither will have Jenny by the time we do Current Geek at 4.
You can't do a show where you talk about things if you're not talking about Star Wars?
Well, we want to do an entire Current Geek Star Wars episode because we have a Star Wars story every week, right? So we're going to do Cord Killers so that we can do a spoiler in time that doesn't have to wait until the following Monday on that Friday at 4 o'clock.
So I am flying. I am flying to LA on the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
17th is the midnight.
Is the Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
When do they start on the East Coast? Is
I think
it
it's 7.
7 p.m.s on the East Coast?
I don't know.
So we're turning off Twitter, right? Everyone's turning off Twitter.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, we're going Amish.
Going dark. I have to go dark for like 20.
Yeah, you have to go dark for
24 to 36
for a
hours.
good while. Yeah.
So right now my flight is out at 1:43 p.m. Friday.
Friday.
Oh,
Okay.
But I can always move it back.
Alright.
The only thing that needs to happen is I need to get back here to the Bay Area by Saturday because Ashley and I are going to the new Alamo Draft House in the mix.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, I mean, if your flight's on time,
Night.
you could still be on Cord Killers via Skype. Would not
Yeah.
be as fun.
I could get out. Yeah, I mean,
Or
I
not
could-
Skype. Yeah, Skype. Yeah. Sorry. Forget what shows we
Too many shows. Too many shows. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I hope the viewing audience has enjoyed this booking session.
Yeah.
I've learned nothing. Like this is like really like so. I'm doing the Star Wars Report daily show, or at least Monday through Friday show with Riley Blanton every week leading up to the movie. He does a show every single week. I'm going to be on Mondays, and it's like so. I've been thinking a lot about where I was in 1999 and what I was excited for, and it's like literally nothing. I spent more money on the opening 48 hours of Star Wars than I did on the Phantom Menace, despite having been burnt by 3 terrible movies. And like, I really only say this just so nobody else says it about me. Like, I have no regrets, and yet I just feel like when we all walk out and it's like, oh God, that was kind of a mess, wasn't it? That we're like. I'm like, I knew, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. No, I am in it for the experience. I am not in it because I assume it will be great. Although I hope it will be.
Movie, right? It's impossible to not be more watchable than The Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace was a real bit.
I don't know. I just saw it 2 weeks ago for the first time. I'll pretend I'm dumb about Star Wars.
Can't pretend you're dumb anymore, Tom. Listen.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually Revenge of the Sith is going up as soon as we're done here.
You've seen it again for the first time.
See it again for the first
I
time.
saw it again.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We will talk to you tomorrow.